AJ, I didn't know that you'd be the one interviewing me, because I auditioned for this job.
Yes.
I didn't know that you'd get the Talk Story job. I did just as good as a job as you, even probably better on the online conference.
Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever Christian Surfers International Conference online.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm here, you're not. What can I say? Things just seem to work out for me.
Yes, they do. Anyways. Hello, my name's Marnie Ellerington.
Hey,
We're on the Talk Story podcast.
No!
And today we'll be...
Hey guys, and aloha. It's Mark Sawyer Chu.
And AJ Ellerington,
Together we'll be hosting the Christian Surfers podcast
where we talk Jesus,
and talk with surfers that love Jesus.
tune in to hear some amazing stories.
Hello, my name is AJ Ellerington, and today you are joining us for the Talk Story podcast, where we go deep. Today I have my older, yet younger looking brother than me. His name is Marnie Ellerington. What a pleasure to have you here, little bro.
I'm older.
How was your day, Marnie? What did you do this morning? What did you eat for breakfast?
Today's great. I'm apparently not allowed to say where we are or what we're doing.
Because this content is timeless.
Oh, timeless. Okay. Yeah. So, let's just say I'm at a conference, and let's just say I'm doing media, and let's just say there's surfers involved.
And let's just say there's In and Out down the road.
Let's just say there's Christians.
Ooh, my favourite people.
So this morning, I was just running around filming stuff, doing some other podcasts. I'm set up the podcast thing that we're doing now.
Yeah, it looks amazing, thank you,
And
Marnie.
I had a Costco's pizza for breakfast.
Oh, that just sounds way too much like
I love
you.
it. Costco's pizzas in the US. Thank you. You're big and mighty and filling, and I've never had such a big pizza. Please
Sponsor him.
Please sponsor me. I'd do anything.
How do you get sponsored? Anyway, that's a whole other topic. So I want to know, Marnie, this is the CS podcast. What is your involvement with Christian Surfers? How did you become part of the whole movement? Yeah, tell us a bit about that. Shoot.
Yes, yeah, okay, Problem is, I wasn't, okay, yeah. So I think I've never been involved in Christian Surfers, really. My dad's always
Full
been...
disclaimer.
Oopsie. But my dad's been involved in Christian Surfers. I think he was like the 7th or something member of Christian Surfers UK.
Yeah, just UK, obviously not international.
Yeah,
he thinks it's a big deal.
pretty
We
big-
tell him it's
big
not
deal,
really.
you know?
But yes, we haven't really been a big part of it until 2020.
Yeah, 2020. So yeah, we are a missionary family. We moved to France when I was 9 and AJ was 8.
And our younger brother was 2.
Yeah.
Can't forget him.
Can't forget him. He's around too, somewhere.
Somewhere.
And we moved there when we were very young to start a church called Surf Church. And it's a church for the surfing community of France. There's really no Christians in France. Very small population, at least, for Europe. And very few churches. And most of the churches are very traditional. It's very hard to be a surfer and a Christian in France. So I guess I was always a Christian surfer. You know what I mean?
Deep down.
You know what? Yeah, And after 7 years of leading that church in France, we decided that we're going to go around the world and make a few more, because a lot of people are keen and a lot of things are happening around the world where we realize, oh my gosh, people are starting surf churches all over. This is not like just our thing. God's given this mission to loads of other people. So we're going to go around the world and meet all these people, see how we can plant even more churches.
Connect the dots.
Connect the dotsing.
The
So,
dotsing.
We chose 2020 to travel around the world, and this
What a
was
great year.
the worst year to travel. It was first destination. We were meant to go to how many destinations?
16 countries.
16.
All the flights are paid for.
Yeah, and we get to South Africa and we get stuck there, and luckily the Harleys, Roy Harley, head of Christian Surfers International, let us stay with them for a couple of months, and that year there was meant to be the Christian Surfers conference in
the international
conference in San Diego,
where
Christian
surfers
surfers
would
meet.
We're twins.
Twins connected
No,
supernaturally.
We're not twins. Oh, that would be terrible. Anyway, sorry.
Why?
So what did we do? I don't know why. What did we do instead of having that conference?
So Roy, Harley, and my dad kind of got together and were like, what can we do? And the board and everybody decided we're going to do an online conference this year because we're all stuck in a house doing nothing, and we're going to do it online. So then I sneak my way into the room and I'm like, hey, I kind of like video and editing. I could be the editing guy.
And they're like, you're doing it.
And so they get me the software to edit. And I didn't tell them this, but I didn't know how to use the software. I learned within like 2 weeks.
Didn't like the whole thing crash like 3 times?
It did. We lost all of the files like 3 times, but I didn't tell Roy that. I was trying to impress him at the time. And so we did that conference. Me and AJ hosted it, and it was a great way to get involved with Christian surfers and get going. And ever since I've been doing media for them on a few projects, and love it.
Yeah,
it feels like home.
Developing your passion. And
yeah, and it really does feel like home. So it came naturally when I got to meet everybody and got to work with everybody, because it's just family. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can relate. Now, I want to know. Obviously, you're a Christian. You are a surfer. When we moved to France as little wee groms, were there insecurities that arose within you that had to do with your Christianity? Being in a French school where you didn't really understand much?
Yeah, it was kind of... I remember there was this moment, because, you had a great teacher and I didn't.
Yeah.
Your teacher taught you French, mine didn't. So I spent a good, 2-3 years...
You can speak French now?
I can speak French now.
Bonjour à tout le monde.
Yes. But there was this moment where I went through pretty hard bullying, and I remember a kid coming up to me and he wanted to make fun of me. It was very clear he didn't like me. He was kind of one of the bully guys, and he's like, "Hey, don't your parents do that weird church thing on Sundays?" And I remember that moment so clearly because I had to wrestle in my mind. Am I going to tell him, make a leap of faith?
Yeah.
Am I going to tell him, yes, that's who I am, that's my family and that's what we're here to do, serve Jesus, that's why we're there. And I was a very strong believer. I was only 13 or 14, but I was strong in my faith. Or I was just going to chicken out and I don't know, just try and get him to like me and say no. And so I took a massive leap of faith, and I told him, no, that's not who I am. I don't know who you're talking about. They're not my parents.
Wow.
And I remember that so clearly because I felt like I betrayed who I am. Because at the time, I didn't really have a home. I didn't have any friends. I just had my family, and I had Jesus. And that was my identity. And denying him was like this big compromise moment where I realized, oh man, without Jesus, who am I? I'm nothing, I'm here to do nothing. And so that same day I went back up to him because I felt so bad inside. I went back up to him and I pointed him at the finger, and he was probably really surprised and confused, but I was like, yes, you were right. That is who I am. This huge story arc moment.
Just imagine everyone in the playground staring at you.
It was pretty great. But that was a fundamental moment in my life.
Yeah.
That kind of got me over all of my insecurities of not having any friends.
Yeah, and then you went together, but you really directed this. We created a little youth group for our church because there was no one to lead it, and you were so upfront with your friends about your faith, and I really admired you about it. From the very start. I didn't really do that until much older.
You're right. Yeah. So that age, my insecurities were mainly just I'm a loner.
Yeah.
But so and I think just being super open with my faith helped with that, because it's I don't care. I'm a Jesus freak. Get over it.
Get over it, guys.
But not in a mean way, obviously.
Yeah.
Get over it and come over to youth, you sucker.
What a beautiful way to invite someone.
Yeah.
So, Marnie, you have developed a great passion for filmmaking. You have found something that you enjoy doing, and you seem grounded in that and stable. For many teenagers, though, that's not the case. I know for me, I'm still wrestling with what I want to do and stuff like that. Do you ever get a moment where you're like, is this what I am meant to do, or Is it difficult? Like, do you have a fear of the future?
Oh man, yeah, like the whole time. But especially when I was first figuring it out, because our grandpa, our parents, our auntie, both sides of the families, everybody in our family are missionaries, are pastors, are people involved heavily in the ministry. And I grew up wanting to be a pastor because everybody did it, and when I felt this skill of editing and videography come so naturally, and I felt so passionate about it, I kind of felt like I was betraying that. And I felt like I wasn't doing what God called me to do, which is to be in the ministry. I've really struggled with that just till a few months ago, really.
Yeah.
I felt like, I'm just chasing my own ambitions and the things that I like, and rather than making the sacrifice and doing what God wants me to do. It's probably the same for many teenagers, actually, like where you feel this kind of
urge to do something, but you don't know if it's in line with what God wants you to do. Exactly. Yeah. And the moment where I got over that wrestling and I found finally a moment of peace was when we were in Costa Rica actually, and we were filming a documentary for a local church there. So our family, we were traveling doing the mission and stuff, and I went up to that family and I said, you know what, I want to bless you guys, and I want to make a documentary for your church that will help you with funding and will help you share the story of what you guys have been doing, because the guy did the same thing for us in France, if you remember, ages ago, and it was super helpful. But I felt God really urging me to say that to them and do that, and I felt so great after that, because I could just see how God can use my skills and the things that I enjoy and the things that I do well for His glory. And it doesn't necessarily need to be in front of a pulpit on a stage. We can do ministry in everything we do. And it was just this moment of like, oh man, and like I think you remember the joy I felt. Like I had the biggest smile, and I was so happy. So I was like, thank you, Jesus. I didn't quite understand why.
It's like, okay, great, you got a job. Okay. Got some work to do. But it was a great moment for me, And so I think as a teenager, navigating your way through life in that way, am I glorifying God through what I'm doing? And am I bringing His kingdom agenda to what I'm doing is really important in when you're making crucial decisions.
That's incredible.
You can never be decided. Okay, right, no.
Oh, he's gonna go. This is preacher mode.
This is my time to shine.
Your time.
My grandpa will be proud.
Oh my god.
Okay, recording.
Every surfer and every surfing community should have the opportunity to know and follow Jesus.
That's why we want to share with you an exciting new project.
The Surfer's Bible!
The Surfer's Bible won't just be in printed form, but it'll also be digital.
And this will include testaments, devotionals, and reading plans, all online and consistently updated.
As part of the global movement, you can make this fantastic idea a reality.
For as little as $10, you can get a printed Bible in the hands of a surfer who has never read one before.
That's a Bible in the hands of a surfer at the local beaches.
Lives will be changed and hearts will be softened.
For every surfer!
I think we did it.
We did it. Phil?
Are we done, or are we...
Hey, are you a young, frothing surfer who loves catching waves and sharing your faith with others? Do you want to make a difference in your surfing community and help others discover Jesus? Then you need to join Sea Salt, the Christian Surfers Advanced Leadership Training Program. Sea Salt is a program designed specifically for young surfers who want to develop their leadership skills, grow in their faith, and serve practically on the ground in existing surfing communities. You'll get to go on road trips, learn about theology and mission, and have loads of fun with other young surfers who share your passion for Jesus and the ocean. Sign up for Sea Salt today.
Have you, as a teenager, do you feel the importance of having role models in your life to input wisdom into you? Or do you kind of rely on your own strength?
cheap as AJ, smacking it with the questions. I see why you got hired. Having a role model is crucial, I think. Having somebody to look up to. If you're a teenager and I want to say new to faith, but I wasn't new to faith. I've been a Christian my whole life.
Yeah.
But I really needed a role model through some of those moments.
Apart from your parents, like you need people.
You need somebody who's young and who you can look up to, and you're like, you know what? I want to be like that. I want to live faith like that, and I want to live life like that. And yeah, I looked up to people in the church, people who surrounded me, and I got to know them better. I bought them coffee, and I got to chat with them.
You bought them coffee, or they bought you?
And it wasn't coffee; it was hot chocolate. But anyways, it doesn't matter. You get what I mean?
Sorry, I
put time aside to get to know them and get to receive their wisdom into my life, and that really helped with just everyday, like, day-to-day feelings.
Yeah, and
help me navigate.
I think that depends on the personality. Like, some people want role models and they kind of wait for people to pick them up, and sometimes there are seasons where that doesn't happen, and you have to try and go after it yourself, you know, because people are busy, and especially within the church, you know, there's maybe a lot going on, and so like you sought after people who you wanted to be like.
You can't wait for it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want some advice and you want some guidance, you got to go make that happen.
Yeah.
You know, if you feel like you're struggling, and if you feel like you've got questions that need to be answered, then like there's no point in waiting. I feel like teenagers nowadays, a lot of us, and it's the same thing for me, like you just wait for things to happen. You wait for like college to come knocking on your door, and you're like,
which is happening, I
guess,
mean.
and you wait for a job opportunity to come. You wait for you know what, when I'm at college, that's when I'll start reading the Bible properly. You know, that's when I'm gonna get my connection with God properly, and I'll sort it out. And that's just the whole way through your life. It'll stay the same. Or at least it has for me, until I actually committed to
That's great. How do you feel like reading your Bible has impacted you on a day-to-day basis?
So that was a big struggle. I'm NGL, not gonna lie. Reading the Bible was tough for me, man, because I felt so bored. Reading the Bible was very boring for me, and it was at the point where I think even like just two years ago or a year ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been postponing this my whole life. I don't know any of the Bible stories.
And you're a pastor's kid.
I'm a pastor's kid. What am I doing? Although, don't get me wrong, when we were doing the whole youth stuff, I would read like chapters, and I'd read books, and I was invested because I wanted to give people information. But nonetheless, I didn't put time aside just for myself and just have time with God in the mornings. And so now I've really, really been working on just every day reading a chapter, or just even like a verse, you know, just however much I feel like, but just putting the time in with God. And I'd always pray beforehand. And honestly, when you start doing it, then you can feel straight away when you stop. Like if you stop for a day, you're like, you know, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
you feel that hunger.
I remember it's just like when you read something, and then throughout your day, there are so many tiny obstacles that you go through, like just in one day, and then your brain is thinking about what you read, and you can like bring the two together, and it's crazy. It's literally crazy.
It's crazy how it happens.
It's radical. I've noticed that you also, when you read in the evening time, it annoys me because I'm trying to write in my diary and you're like yelling out the Bible to Indy.
Yeah.
Has it made a difference in his life?
Hoping so.
Hoping so.
We gotta get I guess it's the same thing for being a brother. Well, this is pretty personal now, but I guess I waited. Indy was very young. The whole, you know, he's like 7 years difference from me, and I'm 19 now. He's 12, and he's always been like the annoying little brother, always taking the PlayStation away from me, always getting me banned,
eating more food
on me,
than
eating
you,
my
like trying to.
Always like a battle, and there hasn't been that kind of like connection that you and Indy have in our family, and I just realized, oh my gosh, I'm going to college soon, and I'm about to leave. And I need to connect with Indy, and I need to be better friends with him because he's going to be my lifelong friend, you know. And I don't want him to go thinking, Marnie, like he's just a bit of an annoying older brother who's just a bit mean sometimes, you know. So I really tried to make effort spending more time with him, and I thought, what better way than reading the Bible together, you know. he finds it boring, but I keep him on track.
And you both get confused sometimes.
We both get confused.
It's so funny.
And every time I ask him, what have we been reading beforehand, and he gives me like a splur of answers. But it's just a great little time we have together. And he went from hating it, like, oh my gosh, Manny, what are you doing? You know, like, come on, just leave me alone.
Leave me to my Switch.
Yeah. And it went all the way to now he's like asking, like, Marnie, it's Bible time, you know, because like he loves reading the Bible with me and getting to know everything that Jesus has to say, which is what we're reading through right now. But also he enjoys that time with me, and he's asking for the time with me, which is really cute.
Marnie.
It's really
high
amazing.
five, and he's slowly becoming. Well, they couldn't hear the high five. And yeah,
Why are you
Marnie's
holding on?
I don't know. Thank you so much, Marnie, for being here today. Honestly, you've imparted loads of wisdom into me. I absolutely loved having you on the podcast. Now I feel like a radio host, station lady.
Yes, thank you, sister. You're amazing.
Thank you, brother.
You're doing great.
From the same mother. No.
Yep. I guess that's true. Hey, we're wearing pink. I just realized
we're both wearing
we
pink.
look dumb. What are we doing?
Actually,
we look like idiots.
No, not on the Christian Service Talk Story podcast.
Guys, it was great having you on the Talk Story podcast.
No,
where
this
we go
is
deep.
no, this is my podcast.
Tune in
Guys,
later.
It's been great having you on the Talk Story podcast. This is where we go deep.
You can vote in the polls who you think is
You
better
can
presenter.
comment how much you enjoy
Vote
it.
Marnie.
Vote AJ. Now, goodbye, and join us in the next podcast where we talk story.
That's great.